In this video, we will be setting up the AdMob ads. To set up the AdMob ads, first we need to go to Tools, Mobile Monetization Pro, Integration Tool, and here choose the integration to be the mobile ads and the ad network to be the AdMob. After doing this, first we need to download the AdMob SDK. Now, if you click on the download AdMob SDK, you will going to find this Unity package. Just click on it and then click on the download button to download it. After downloading it, import it to the Unity project. I've already done it. Here you can see the Google Mobile Ads are already imported. After importing the Google Mobile Ads, we need to import the AdMob native SDK as this is required for the native ads. Now, in case you don't want to install the AdMob native SDK, then you can ignore this step and then move forward and import the required scripts. And after importing the required scripts, you will going to find that inside the Mobile Monetization Pro tools, Mobile Monetization Pro AdMob Manager scripts, you will going to find this AdMob initializer script. Just open this up and just make sure to comment this line of code. And after this, you will going to find these red lines. Just scroll up and comment this request native ad as well. And after doing this step, you will be able to ignore the native SDK installation. But for now, let's integrate the AdMob native ad SDK. Just click on download AdMob native SDK. And this time just download this native ads add-on and then just import this package to the Unity. Import the package. So after this, we can import the required scripts. Just click on the import required scripts and import the required scripts. Now here we do not need to install the Google Mobile Ads SDK for GDPR separately because we have already done it by installing the AdMob SDK. So you can ignore this step. And then after close the integration tool window. And then after right click in the hierarchy, create an empty game object and call it as the AdMob Ads initializer. And inside the AdMob Ads initializer, post reset the transform. And then after go to tools, Mobile Monetization Pro, AdMob Manager, select the scripts and then drag and drop this AdMob Ads initializer script over here. After this, just create another empty game object and call it as the AdMob Ads Manager. And here just drag and drop this AdMob Ads Manager script. Now, before we set up all of these things and tweak the values, let's set up the AdMob ads and create the ad unit IDs and the app IDs in the Google AdMob dashboard. Here on Google AdMob, go to apps and then click on add app. For the platform, choose the Android. Later, we will going to set up it for the iOS as well. For the is app listed on the supported app stores, click no and then continue. For the test app name, we will going to type test game 2 and then I will go to type AdMob and then click done. After this, click on the app settings, copy this app ID back in Unity. We need to go to the assets, Google Mobile Ads, and then settings. Just paste the Android app ID over here. For the iOS, I will just going to paste the Android app ID as well. Later, we will going to change it for the iOS. After this is done, go to the project settings and then here click on the player and make sure to check the checkbox custom mean Gradle template as well as the custom Gradle properties template. This is important, and after doing this, click on the assets, external dependency manager, Android resolver and click on the resolve. Once the resolution succeeded, click OK. And then after, let's go back to AdMob dashboard. And here click on the add units, click on the get started and then let's create the banner interstitial, rewarded as well as the native and the app open. So all the 6 ad types, let's create one by one. Let's first click create the banner. I was just going to call it as the banner. And here we are not using the partner BD. We are not using the level play or any other ad network as a mediation partner. So in this case, we need to keep the checkbox to be unchecked and then click on the create ad unit. After doing this, click done. Once done, add another unit For the interstitial, I was just going to copy the interstitial ad format name and then create ad unit. Click done. Do the same for the rewarded interstitial. So once we created the ad units, now we need to just copy paste these ad units. And for this case, let's go back to the Unity, select the AdMob Ads initializer. And here, first, we will going to make sure to uncheck the use GDPR consent pop-up, as we have talked about how to display the GDPR consent message before loading the ads in the game in a separate tutorial. So if you want to learn more about how to display the GDPR consent message, please check that video. For now, let's just uncheck the use GDPR consent message and then copy paste the ad unit IDs for the Android. Currently, we will going to find that these are all the example ad units that we are using. Let's copy paste these ad units. Let's copy it for the app open and then paste it for the app open here. Copy it for the banner, interstitial. Once we copy pasted it, let's just maximize the scene again. After this, let's now tweak the ad settings. Now here you will going to find that we have this show banner ads in start. So in this case, if this checkbox is enabled, then the banner will start displaying in the start. But in case if it is unchecked, then you can actually display the banner by clicking on the UI button. You will going to find inside the AdMob Ads Manager, you will going to find this banner ads callback, show banner ad button, where you can just drag and drop the UI button you want to display to show the banner ad. For now, I will just going to show the banner ads in start function. So let's just check this checkbox. And after checking this checkbox, you will going to find that inside the AdMob Ads Manager, the button field is now hidden. Let's get back to the AdMob Ads initializer. And this time for the banner position, we will going to choose it to be the bottom. You can choose it from the top, top left, top right, bottom, bottom center, according to your needs. But I will going to choose it to be the bottom. Now here, another feature that the AdMob ads provide here is to use the adaptive banner size, which means that the banner will going to fit according to the screen size of the device. For now, let's keep it to be checked as well. And here you can even decide the custom adaptive banner width if you want to. For example, if you check this checkbox here, you can decide the custom adaptive banner width according to your choice. For example, you can type here 520, 800, 600 based on your choices. But I will go to let the AdMob SDK do this automatically for us based on the device screen size. And for this case, I will going to keep this checkbox to be unchecked. After this, you need to decide adaptive banner ad size option. So if your game is landscape and both the portrait, then you need to choose the landscape and portrait option. And if your game is only portrait, then you need to choose the portrait. And if it is only landscape, then choose landscape here. In this case, I will going to choose the portrait, as this example game that we have is a portrait game. For the enable timed interstitial ads, let's also keep it to be checked. This means that after watching the interstitial ads and closing it, we will going to reset the timer, so the next interstitial ad will going to appear after the 10 seconds has been completed. So for this case, I was going to keep it to be checked. And for the interstitial ad interval seconds, let's also leave it to be 10 seconds. For the reset interstitial ad timer on rewarded ad, let's also keep it to be checked. This basically means that after we finished watching the rewarded video ad and closing it, we will going to make sure to not to display the interstitial ad again to the player immediately, and we will going to only display the interstitial ad after the 10 seconds is completed. So we're making sure to reset the interstitial ad timer once the player has watched a rewarded video ad. For the app open ads settings, here you will going to find that when to show the app open ads. You will going to find the app opens to check before showing app open ad, which is 3, which means after opening the game the third time, we will going to actually display the app open ad. We can even delay the showing app open ad by 2 seconds. This is important so that the AdMob ads can easily initialize and load the ads in the backend before we start displaying it. So if you put this value to be 0, for example, then it may be possible that the app open ad do not have enough time to display because it's not loaded completely. So always make sure to add some delay over here so that the SDK can be initialized as well as the app open ads can be properly loaded from the server of the AdMob. After doing these settings, let's get back to the AdMob Ads Manager, and here post debug ID inspector needs to be unchecked as debug ID inspector is only required when we are setting up the AdMob ads for the mediation. Now we have already talked about how to set up the AdMob ads for the mediation in a separate video. For the add inspector button, this is also only required for the mediation, so we can also leave it to be empty. And for the native ads callback, you will going to find that we have this native pop-up where we can actually display the native ads. Here you will going to find I'm using this canvas image, and in this white image we will actually going to display the native ads from the AdMob. For this case, we can just drag and drop this native image over here to the image to use to display native ad. For the action buttons to show interstitial ad, here we can choose the reload button as well as the next level button. For example, if you expand the canvas, you will going to find inside the gameplay UI, if you enable it and deactivate the main menu, you will going to find that we are using this reload button, which is located over here, and we can use this. Just select the AdMob Ads Manager and drag and drop this reload button. So if the game basically gets reload, then we will be displaying a interstitial ad if the 10 seconds of the timer that we have specified is completed. Similarly, we can add another button over here, and this time I will going to choose this next level button. So if the player completes a level, then we will be able to display an interstitial ad to him. And for this case, we can just drag and drop this next level button over here. And after doing this, let's even add the rewarded ads callbacks. For this case, let's just deactivate the level complete UI and activate back the main menu. And here for the rewarded ads callbacks, just click on the add function. You can add multiple more functions, but just for this tutorial, let's add two functions. For the rewarded ad callbacks here, first we can either choose either to show the rewarded interstitial or a complete rewarded video ad. If this checkbox is checked, then the rewarded interstitial ad will be shown to the player based on this rewarded interstitial and ad unit that we have provided over here. Let's check this checkbox, and here for the rewarded interstitial ads, I will going to create a separate UI button. So just for this tutorial, let's just add a UI button and let's rename it to be something like rewarded interstitial check. And we can just place it somewhere over here for now. And for the text, let's just call it as the rewarded interstitial and make it size to be 50. And then reselect the AdMob Ads Manager and drag and drop this rewarded interstitial over here. And for the rewarded button, for the next property, we can just drag and drop this button over here, which is called the free coins. Watch and get rewarded 5,000 coins. And here you will going to find I'm using this free coins UI button. We can simply use this button by just dragging and dropping it over here, and make sure to uncheck the rewarded interstitial here so that we can watch a complete rewarded video ad. Now here for the scripts, you will going to find I'm using this shop script where if you open up the script, you will going to find that I'm using this function show reward, which is located over here. Basically, the show rewarded function activates a reward panel. It provides some coins to the player, increase the coins of the player by 5,000, and basically save it and then display it in a text. So I'm using this function, and we need to basically call this function when the player completes watching the rewarded video ad. And for this case, let's just select the AdMob Ads Manager and then drag and drop this shop script game object over here to the rewarded button property too. And then for the function to invoke, I will going to choose the show reward. Here you can use the same function for the rewarded interstitial ad if you want to. Let's just drag and drop this shop script over here. And this time, let's just choose the same function, show reward as well here. and make sure to click on the save the changes. Now here you can add more functions, drag and drop any other mono behavior script and choose the function you want. But I will going to leave the setup something like this. And after this setup is done and completed, now we are ready to test the setup directly on the Android device. To test this, make sure to save the scene first, go to the build profiles, make sure to add your demo game scene, go to the project settings, and here make sure to choose the scripting backend to be the IL2 CPP and ARM64 is checked. And you can decide here your minimum and target API levels over here, but I will going to leave them just like this. And then after, just go to file, build profiles. Now here, before we push the build and run button, let's get back to the AdMob dashboard. And here, first, let's go to the settings and click on the test devices and make sure to add your device over here. Click on the add test device, provide the device name. For example, I will just go to call it as the my Android device and then choose the platform Android. And for the advertising ID, IDFA, please follow these steps. Go to Play Store in the Android device, search for advertisement IDFA, and here just scroll down and you will going to find the My Device ID by AppsFlyer. Just install it or update it and open it. And here you will going to find the Google Advertising ID, which you basically need to copy it from here. Paste the advertising ID IDFA over here, and inside the ad inspector you do not have to choose anything, and then click save. And after this, we are ready to test the AdMob ads to the device. Get back to Unity, and this time let's push the build and run button. Make sure your Android device is connected to the Unity. Now for the iOS, you need to follow the same steps. Create the ad unit IDs for the iOS and just copy paste the app ID from the AdMob to the assets, Google Mobile Ads and the settings. Here you will going to find I have already done it. I have copy pasted the new iOS app ID from the AdMob to here. You will going to find I have created this test game to AdMob iOS, and here I have also copy pasted all of these ad unit IDs over here inside the AdMob ads initializer for each of the ad units for the iOS, banner, interstitial, rewarded, native, app open, and the rewarded interstitial ID. After doing these steps, you need to go to File, Build Profiles, and make sure to switch platform to the iOS. So, after this, we need to make sure to add the iOS test device to the AdMob dashboard. To do this, go to the AdMob and here click on the settings, click on the test devices, and here click on the add test device. Provide here the device name to be the iPhone. After this, choose the platform to be the iOS. Now here, note one thing that we cannot test the ads until we add the app tracking transparency to the application, which means as you can read over here, to test your ad serving on the iOS 14 or later, app tracking transparency must be enabled, which means even the test ads cannot be tested on the iOS device until we add the app tracking transparency to it. Now here, let's go back to Unity, and here let's first add the app tracking transparency here. Now, I have already talked about the app tracking transparency in a separate video. If you want to learn more about it, please watch that video full. Close this window, go to the window, and then to the package manager, and here in the Unity registry, search for the iOS, and you will going to find this iOS 14 advertising support, which I have already installed. Once installed, you need to make sure to go to the samples and then import this context screen samples as well. After installing the samples as well, you will be finding that inside the project, if you go to the samples, iOS 14 advertising support, and here click on this context screen sample, just double click on it, and here click on this context screen sample game object in the hierarchy, and here you will going to find I have added the Mobile Monetization Pro ATT screen manager, and I'm basically loading the scene number 1. Now after having this, now I have already talked about this thing in the separate tutorial. Now go to the file, build profiles, and add this scene. Click on the add open scene and make sure to place this sample iOS 14 advertising support scene on the top and Mobile Monetization Pro demo scene at 1. Now this is the recommended settings so that our ads could properly display. So after adding this scene, we can close this build profiles and then go back to the Mobile Monetization Pro scenes demo game. Once done, let's get back to the AdMob dashboard. And here, to get the advertising ID, IDFA, please follow these steps. Go to App Store and search for Apps Flyer, and you need to install the first application and click open. And here you need to copy this advertising ID from here. Paste the advertising ID over here. And then after for the ad inspector, you don't have to choose anything and click save. After this, back in Unity, we need to now go to the file, save scene file, build profiles, and then select the platform to be the iOS and then build the game. After building, make sure to open the Unity iPhone XC workspace file. After opening it up, select the Unity iPhone, choose the app category to be the games, and make sure to connect your iPhone device. Select your iPhone over here. Let me connect mine. Once connected, it will going to show up over here, and then you can just click on the run button. Open up the game on the iOS device. You will going to see first the app tracking transparency pop up. Click allow. It will going to load the next scene, and then in the bottom you can see the banner ads. And if we push play, we can see right in front the native ads. And if we click on the reload button, this will be our interstitial ad. Let's close it and let's push the show rewarded interstitial. Let's close it. And now let's first click claim. And then after, let's click on the rewarded ad and close it as well. Great. So the ads are properly running on the iOS device. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching.